Hello, Requinate7, and welcome back to Combat Mission Battle for Normandy. We are heading into a new scenario, and this is going to be the 14th and I believe penultimate mission in the Scottish Corridor campaign. We are once again in Normandy. We cannot escape this wretched town. And once again we are defending Normandy, so we had some heroic defence against the 9th Panzer Division last time, inflicting a serious number of injuries or kills on their armoured vehicles, but apparently that was not enough of them. So the German commander has thought about his losses, it was just yesterday, and decided that his failing were due entirely to Allied air power. I think it's a slight affront to the good work done by Churchill's, but there we go, we'll let them have it. And so we resolved to attack once again, this time pre-dawn. As you see, it is 2:30 in the morning. So in terms of the forces that at our disposal, very much the same troops that were conducting defence yesterday. So that's the 6 infantry platoons from C and D Company, associated Vickers heavy machine guns, with 2 of those. We have 6 6-pounder anti-tank guns, and we have a few scouting and Bren detachments, usual couple of snipers, usual couple of FOs. In addition, the Royal Tank Regiment troops that were supporting us yesterday, that's the 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th and the HQ troops of the Churchill tanks, have unfortunately pulled back. They will be here at some point in the battle, around about the 10-minute mark, but as we kick things off, they are nowhere to be seen. In addition, we will get some new toys to play with, and around the 15-minute mark we'll get some Achilles tank destroyer units, which is essentially an American M10 with the British 17-pounder put on in the turret instead of the American M17, I think it's called, their 3-pounder gun. Yeah, 3-inch gun, sorry. But anyway, so it's the M10 chassis, British 17-pounder. I've not had to play with them before, so that'll be fun to use. In addition, we will get some artillery support. We've none at the beginning, but we'll get some around about the actually at the 5-minute mark we're going to get some mortars, and then at the 10-minute mark we're getting a whole bunch. We get some 25-pounders, some 114mm guns, some 155mm howitzers, and some 183mm heavy howitzers, with limited ammo, but lots of toys to play with if we can get that far. In terms of the objective, 2 objectives to hold. We've got fair in the centre here, and we've got square just outside. So the town centre, so only a collection of houses, but what I'm going to call the town centre of Normandy, which we've fought over many, many times, and this kind of little farmhouse off to the side. For you kind of trying to reorientate yourself from the last scenario, we're kind of turned our view around 90 degrees. Our holding hard point was kind of up here, where it's some valiant work from our troops. The kind of panzers and Jagdpanzer's main thrust was across this field, a lot of which is obviously not on this map, and this was the field where that final infantry assault was cut to pieces by our defending forces. So this time it looks like we're going to be pushing in through these woods. In terms of the terrain, I mean, it's all very familiar at this point. But a quick overcap is it's relatively flat, a few rises in a couple of these fields that will just slightly obstruct line of sight, but nothing too kind of dominating in terms of hills. Also a good bit of forest here is going to protect the German advance, but obviously the areas immediately in front of all the objectives are pretty open. Maybe slightly less over here with the orchards. We've got 2 outposts, you see on both sides of the map, and we will start with units in those outposts. And the first interesting decision which we had to make was, what are we going to do with the troops in these outposts? So before I flash up units and show you where everyone is, this was my first consideration, and there's a bit kind of a platoon in here. They've been pretty badly shot up, so they are probably just under half strength, only 1 Bren run between the infantry sections as well as their Bren detachment. So realistically our chance of kind of holding here for any time was pretty slim. I felt that they were going to get kind of bowled over, and probably not take that many Germans with them. Now it is pre-dawn, the sight line is going to be pretty short, so they're not going to be able to just sit assault guns or tanks kind of quite far back and pound us, but at the same time I didn't feel there was a lot of value in holding the position. I don't think it gives us anything to have this area, so my initial strategy is going to be opposed to abandon this lookout. We will of course hold a main line along the objective itself, and I'm planning on extending that right across this field and across this head of this orchard. In addition, with this lookout post, I actually quite like it. I think this is quite a good position. It's not the most defensible. We might end up getting shelled to buggery, but you know, it's got a bit of cover, sorry, a bit of concealment, I should say, rather than cover, because it's hedges. We can get some good sight lines on the approaching road. It gives us a flanking position through this field, and it's not too far away from our forces here, but we can't support it. So I'm going to attempt to hold up the Germans at this point. So a little similar to our tactics last time, in which case we'll hold a slightly forward point and let them kind of push the other side, which then ideally give us a bit of a flank. Right, let's get the troops back. There we go. Okay, so this is the forces arrayed before us. Like I said, very similar, or in fact, the identical troops to last time. So, fortunately, we did relatively well in terms of casualties, so we are pretty strong. Interesting enough, the briefing did say that these guys were going to be flagged as tired, but everyone actually seems to be very well rested. So, we're interested to see if it's just the tanks that return tired, but certainly my infantry, they're in good condition. So yes, 18th platoon over here. They were pretty sharp yesterday, as you see. You know, I have split up that section, but even then, that's an entire section of 4 dudes, and that's an entire section of 5 dudes. It's not great strength there to begin with. And the other relatively badly damaged platoon is 16th over here as well, where I have broken them down, but again, they have quite a lot of casualties between them. So between these two platoons, I've probably got just over the strength of one healthy one. So yeah, so we're going to pull back from there. I'm going to have this platoon swing in to kind of shore up this central position. With one exception, and I'm probably going too much in the detail here at this stage of the defence plans, but I have grabbed my Piet team, and given that this is 2:30 in the morning with some pretty horrific sight lines, I'm going to get them to come in here and I'm going to get them to hide. And maybe they might give opportunities to maybe ambush a vehicle. Maybe not, it might go awry, but I thought I'd try something a little different and see if I can use the night to my advantage. Other than that, we have broken down what's left of 16th platoon as well as a heavy Vickers. We've used plenty of foxholes we've been given. We are a little bit exposed in this field, but again, shorter sight lines, and it does give us hopefully better angles on the approaching German infantry. We do have to be concerned. They have said they're bringing a lot of assault guns. It'll be interesting to see how much armour they bring, as yesterday they were left with, I think, just 4 Panzer IVs was all they had standing at the end of the battle, so we don't have too much there, but certainly if they're getting some fresh assault guns in, that could cause a problem. Meanwhile, moving to the centre, this is all fairly conventional. I've got some, again, broken down the squads as much as I can, just to minimise casualties from either assault gun fire or artillery fire, haven't spread out through the houses and used kind of in the foxholes, again, just to kind of protect us from initial shelling, and then we'll move into a kind of more offensive position if we need to, as and when the German infantry get here. We've got a little bit of reserve, not very strong, so we've got one section here in reserve, but it's fairly close front lines. And that's kind of it for reserve on this left hand side. We're completely devoid in our back line, which is a little more aggressive than perhaps I did in last time. And nor do we have anyone sitting idle over here. This flank is really being secured by a 6-pounder and a couple of brain carriers. So questionable, but I think it's far enough back and there's enough forces here that we're not going to see a big German push down that side. In terms of the kind of anti-vehicle, or anti-tank, we do have one 6-pounder which I've got set up in this position here, which is a bit of view, which has a good line of sight down this road, and I'm hoping they can you know, get a bit of work done, although he seems to have slightly clipped himself. I'll need to adjust that before we hit the go button. If he moved the edge over slightly in his action square, he had a good line of sight down the road, so I'll fix that. And we do have another one all the way back here. Again, has a bit of a line of sight down this road, although visibility could be an issue. In the centre, we've kind of got 2 lines of defence. First line of predominantly infantry, using the same tactic as before, where I've got squads or sections broken down. I've got most of the guys in foxholes and hiding, with just a rifle team with my eyes and ears up at front, and then I can move them up and take position to engage when required. We've got kind of 2 6-pounders at the back line, of reasonable lines of sight kind of into this field. Ish. Yeah, it's not too bad. And likewise, again with line of sight tool struggles because it's trying to tell you if your anti-tank gun can see the ground where your cursor is. Of course, when the tank's there, they're a good couple meters off the ground, so your best way of doing it, to be honest, is really just kind of getting down here and using your eyeballs, which works well. I have noted the graphics really don't line up for these sandbags and these anti-tank guns, so I'm hoping that doesn't cause us any problems. Moving on to this right hand side, so we've got, this is probably where we are strongest in terms of reinforcements. We've got kind of 3 sections. The entirety of the 13th platoon are focused in this area, so we could theoretically strengthen the middle or strengthen the hard pocket if we want. Alternatively, just hold this as their own defensive line. There is some nice angles we've got in this position in terms of our 2nd Vickers has got some good line of sight into this field, as does this 6-pounder. Well, ish. They seem to lose the ground after it. Again, that's just because the ground slopes slightly and they're trying to get that spot on the ground, but eyeball wise it's some nice angles. And then finally we have 15 platoon are kind of holding this hard spot. Again, everyone's broken down. I've got the officer section and the Bren section hiding, albeit not in foxholes because I don't have any up here. Although I potentially could move some forward actually, because these troops can't come out of this zone, but perhaps some of these foxholes could move. No. Okay, good to check. So that is everything in this zone has to stay here. Yeah, so again, broken them down. Rifle guys are on eyes and ears. Most other people are hidden. I've left, because I think those Germans are going to come down this road, this Bren section unhidden, so we can apply some fire as soon as we see them. And we've got a 6-pounder who I just want to get a couple of shots in. I don't think he's long for the world, but it'd be nice to take out a vehicle or 2. Again, graphically, for some reason he's sticking all the way through the hedge, but I'm hopeful that's not going to cause us too many problems. We do have a little bit of backup in terms of a kind of secondary 6-pounder sat here, which does have kind of some line of sight up this road. Obviously not as clear, but can hopefully help defend that position. And I'm just pushing this scout team up with a couple of Brens to man that hedgerow. And that's about it. So I've been, I've done the usual where I've been through and I've emptied as much ammo as I can to make sure all my kind of Bren guns have got plenty of ammunition. All my mortar teams have got absolutely loads of bombs. I mean, I think they're all sitting about 25. Oh, you didn't get any extra ones. These guys do, you know, 25 bombs each. That's pretty good. And I've done my usual thing of splitting out the Bren carriers which do have Bren guns and the ones which don't. So I've got a whole bunch of dudes stacked over here. So these are the some mortar carrier and some other bits and pieces where they don't have guns. And what I tend to do, which I haven't done here, which I'll do just now, is I then take the drivers out of these guys because I don't really need them. I've taken the ammo that I need, and then I can put them into the Bren carriers with inbuilt Bren guns, like so. And now we've kind of, and now we have Bren platforms. I'm a little worried about my Brens, to be honest, or my universal carriers, I should say. You know, we're coming up against heavier German armaments, and they're not going to fare too well. But I'm hopeful they're kind of hidden away enough that they're not going to get targeted too badly. Anything else worth mentioning? One last thing is, we know the area north of this hedgerow is mined. I do believe on, I think it's both sides of the railway, but I can't remember if this road is mined or not. I'm suspecting it is, so I'm going to push this potentially push this Bren car up, because it'd be quite nice to hold that corner. But I'm resolved myself to the fact that he's probably going to blow up and bad things will happen. Yes, sorry, very key thing is going to be TRPs. So we've got 3 target reference points. 1 we have put over here in this position we're giving up, so we can hopefully destroy any Germans that decide to take up residence there. And the other 2, nothing particularly untoward. We've taken up a position with this hedgerow where I suspect they will try and build up some fire superiority or park some, you know, assault guns behind it, etc. And another one over here, which is maybe less of an ideal position for them to build up. But it's probably a route they're still going to come. And don't want to move that anywhere. No, I think that one's fine. I think that one's fine. not will have anything through for the first 5 minutes anyway. And that's kind of it. We're all, we're rested, we're dug in, we're resupplied. It's just going to be a case of seeing where the Germans turn up. Interesting one in this is that we took a significant advantage in the last one over Churchill's of not moving, you know, being in position, letting essentially the Germans drive across our sights and then taking them out. This time, obviously, with our Churchill's arriving as reinforcements, we're going to have to then manoeuvre into position, which may expose ourselves a little bit. So that is going to make this one a little more interesting. That, and it's night time, so we're going to have to see very little. Anyway, that is 15 minutes in. I've not hit the go button. So I'm going to go put quick gun, do one last route check, and then we can kick things off. Alright, let's hit the big red button. So the way I'll probably do this is, again, depending on what we see in this first minute, I might take a cut for a few minutes until things kick off. I suspect we might get some initial contact of where they are if we hear some engine noises, but I doubt we'll get any firm contacts. Although I say that, you never know. They could have started quite far forward and already be up and amongst this area. My real... oh, there's a tank right there. My real key idea is, or hope I should say, is just to pull these guys out. Ooh. That was odd. Oh. I say that was odd just because they didn't sound like much in the way of explosions. Oh, is he dropping smoke? Oh, okay, interesting. There's your explosions. Okay. Let's give ourselves a better position. We see what's going on. There's the green squares. That's a lot of flashy icons. Oh, come on, you destroyed my AT gun on turn 1. Oh, you destroyed the brain carrier, you destroyed that brain carrier. That was quite the explosion. Right, so we've got 1, 2 casualties there, 3 casualties, 4, 5. Thankfully not the gunner. Oof. Yes, I think 5 casualties, and I cannot believe you took out my AT gun. Oh, some more casualties over here. And that is quite a brutal opening artillery barrage. That's incredibly successful. Much to my chagrin. Considering how, you know, if forces are relatively dispersed around, especially around here. 1/22 salvo, not even. Casualty there as well. Oof. Okay, enough watching my own torment. Right. I will just run it through. I'm not changing any orders at the minute. These guys could potentially have a bad time, but if there's a follow-up. But if these were potentially Nebelwerfers, then you might get minutes of reprise as they reload. And they're going in. Look at that smoke. That looks good at least. Doubt we'll get any resolved conflicts, just contacts I should say, because of the distance. So with those 2 Brens destroyed, I may have to rethink what I'm doing in terms of defense and to swing some of more of these guys into this position, just so I've got some kind of infantry defense back here. I'm really upset about losing that AT gun because this whole area is pretty light on AT assets now until my Churchills turn up. Okay, fairly quiet. So what I'll do then is I'll stick in a wee cut and then I'll bring you guys back if we get any solid contacts or if they drop another exciting artillery barrage. So I do think those were Nebelwerfers, as after a short reprieve of a minute, they have come back. What feels terrible is I pulled this squad out because I wanted them. I didn't think they would survive long enough to be of any use. Turns out they're just going to get murdered before they can do anything anyway. Oh, feels bad. Now that said, the rest of the casualties haven't been too bad, as much as I'm grumbling about losing the AT gun and, you know, getting these guys pretty badly mauled, actually. Yeah. And of course, there goes a brain gun, so all I've got down here now is a blooming handful of rifles and a dream, really. But we will have to make do with that. Poor guys. And we have seen a lot of vehicles. This does concern me, because although we've got one 6-pounder, he's not going to be able to stop them all, I don't think. Oh, we've got our hero of dreams over here, whom it can maybe, I mean, let's be honest, if he's going to get probably one shot before he gets taken out, but might not be the worst. In fact, one thing we'll do, let's go command phase, because what I'd quite like to do is make sure you, my friend, you are hidden, but even then, I'm going to say, can you set your target arc of, honestly, just like, say, 65, no, 70 meters, right? So I don't think they'll spot him before that, not at the minute anyway. There's a good chance he'll just get bumped into by some infantry and things will go badly, but we'll see what we can do. Yeah, let's perhaps push on, see if we can get resolve of a contact. I mean, depends how aggressive they are on this right-hand flank. May run into my 6-pounder sooner rather than later. And that just shows the effect of obviously fighting at night, how close they are, and yet we've got no visual contact. On the plus side, my little brine carrier here is managing to make up the road without having been blown up. I'm taking that as a small victory. But currently I have not a lot to stop these guys. Oh, one other thing in terms of Piat surprises. These guys, who were just a rifled, a section from, a detachment I should say, from one section, did grab a spare Piat out one of the brine carriers. And again, I've got them on a hide command, just at the point of this road. That is a lot of vehicles we're seeing. Coming again for round 3. That's a heck of a shrapnel injury. A lot of the stuff is slightly behind where we are, so I can be thankful of that. I will just keep rolling. Let's get through the time. Stuff back here is okay. Although, this guy's having a bad time. Artillery, who knew, eh? Yeah, all this stuff in here I'm happy with. And let's be honest, had they, dropped it maybe more centrally, it could have been a lot worse. I can't believe we don't have eyes on that guy. It's, I'm just spinning it around slightly before we do the last 30 seconds. Just waiting for you, essentially, to get contact. See, coming up against, as we expected, along this hedgerow, so that's ideal for us to just drop a lot of artillery along there. Look at that. That's some serious numbers. Okay. Blue command phase. I'm going to quick. Oh, our mortars have arrived. I think we want to get those in use straight away. Yes, it's only 3 inches. That should be fine. Give me a, linear target. I can use both TRPs. You can. 2 minutes. I think we're just going to unload it all, to be honest. Let's go medium. Yeah, we've got more artillery coming in 5 minutes. Yeah, to immediately confirm.
Hello, fire mission, over.
I think that's going to be great. We can use our heavier stuff on this position once these guys have resolved themselves. But we know there's vehicles now. I suspect there's all sorts of infantry working their way forward as well. So let's just start hitting it a couple minutes and keep hitting it, you know? I think that's going to be good. I want to make a quick tweak to people over here who are listening to me right now. Right, just get yourselves in some buildings. You are not going to be much use to anyone. Poor guys, poor guys. And then we'll just keep cracking on. Until we can return fire with some artillery one. Albeit, it's not the same caliber. But we'll get our heavier caliber stuff soon. He's made it all the way up. I just have to watch exactly where he's going to. I do like that dust effect on the road. I don't know how well it'll transpose itself into YouTube's. It looks great on the screen. Come on, come forward just a little bit, please. Ah, the excitement of watching grey boxes slowly creep forward across the map. No! Not another round. Oh, there goes someone. Lots of suppression, but not a horrendous amount of infantry of casualties. I mean, it's slightly behind our lines, which has been good. Obviously, creeping forward a little bit. Seems to be following these guys. Yeah, we're definitely a lot thinner on the ground here than we used to be. Ouch. So I really want my tanks to appear on this side of the map so we can start to push back slightly. I'm surprised we haven't seen more of them. Command units, I don't think I have anything to give until some of you guys retain the head. Let's just crack on. I want to get this spot. So we'll... I mean... Oh, it's infantry. Hello. We need to unhide these guys sooner rather than later. I just want to see something solid. Interesting.
Hello, Vanish out.
Right, we'll get our mortars away at least.
Fire for effect out.
It's a nice prompt response, that isn't it? 2 minutes, you can't really complain about that at all. I mean, we've got to be almost right on us. How can we not see anything? I know some of these guys are hidden, but they certainly are not all like that.
Hello, Vanish out.
Okay, they're continuing to hammer here, which is... I'm okay with that. I can get behind that decision of theirs. And look, our first mortar round coming. Okay, what I'm going to do, if we jump to command phase, is unhide all these guys. My fear of you bumping into something, it seems to be not required. And maybe we should get some proactive shelling on the go. Yeah, just drop some stuff in and around there. We know there's some infantry movement. Might just be a scout team, but we'll let you do that for a turn. Nothing else. You are hidden down here, that's absolutely fine. Change my angle a little bit. There you go. First more round away. First chance to answer them. And we will run at least 1 more minute. So I really want to see and inflict damage upon that tank. Or maybe I want to go there. I don't want to come a bit closer. No, I think that's fine. say we need to get at least some positive confirmation. Oh, it's just an artillery duel at the minute. Hello. Okay, this makes me happy at least. Right, what have we got? Oh, that's a proper tank. This is how close they had to be before we spotted it. Okay, who's going to be quickest off the mark? Hang on. I know I just paused in a second, but respect to this guy, right? Comes along. Oh crikey. Well, actually, I mean, we're saying it's an assault and run attack, but fair enough. And then, oh, don't worry about that. It's a German guy. Reaction, flick, and dead. Right, can you? There we go. Okay, lovely. That was entirely your job. And then the night fighting starts. And you were there. Who took you out? Hang on. Lower rear hulls. That would be. I don't know what that would be. Fine, lower right hull. Is that like a lucky mortar round? I'm not entirely sure actually. Right, I'm not doing any more watching because oh, I think I might have seen something. That's right, I'll stop. I should do it my own time if I really want to know. Right, what is this? That's just machine gun fire in a bush. Okay, pass. No idea. The mysteries of CM. Okay, but this is good. 2 vehicles down. That's a nice little bit of carnage. Lots of injured German infantrymen running back. Our poor dismounted brain carriers taking a hit, but that's not a problem. Another half track resolved itself over here. Just a standard half track. Are you knocked out yet? This guy has been machine gunned to oblivion. We've got another half track marauding our lines here, which is causing a few problems. Okay. Done and done. We're going to go 1 more minute to give ourselves a bit of excitement here. Let's go this. You should need to unhide yourself. Should have potentially had you in the front lines, to be perfectly honest. Now, this guy is vulnerable to grenades and the like. The problem is, I think our troops might be legging it. Indeed, they are. Which I am less than pleased about, because we're in danger as much as I was enjoying our position of being overrun. What kind of sightline does our friend back here have? Oh, he does have. Does have some line of sight. You tell me you can see it, but you can't shoot it. I find that somewhat frustrating. These guys are obviously heavily pinned, and may not come unpinned without additional support at the front line, which we are kind of running away from. Okay. going to need some support. See if you guys can get up there. I'm worried you're just going to get mauled by this machine gun before you get in position. But that 7.62 is a threat. 7.92, sorry. Don't think there's much more I can do, but I don't want to just rush him forward. I will make sure he's unhidden, so if he gets eyes, then I might get a chance. And tell him, let's make sure you're explicitly facing this way. I'm hopeful he'll get an eye line over the top of the hedge. We're just being kind of chewed upon. Oh, and everyone is up. Don't run away. Stop it. Oh, yeah, stop running. Running is bad, you'll just get shot in the back. Disappointed how quickly they've broken, actually. Okay. Well, let's see if we can hold this position or if we have to rethink our defensive strategy after the first push. Danger being if they get past our kind of defensive lines, with less TRPs we can call upon. Right, someone needs to take out that guy. Okay, that's our other AT gun getting involved. Missing, but yeah, trying to help. We really need a grenade or a Pia or something. Hang on. Did we get the weapon? No, I thought we might have hit the gunner for a minute. It was a cross of his buddy. Okay, you guys are still hidden. Pete. Apparently can't see anything. Okay. And everyone else is just getting machine gunned as they run away. So what happens when you run for your positions, lads? Oh, I mean, that's not a good look, is it? Oh, this guy's still on the go. My tank kill is not a tank kill. Look at them run! That's what happens when you run, lads. You just get mowed down by machine guns. Okay, our anti-tank team have woken up again. The brave guys that are stuck out when everyone else is cut and run. Right, another penetrating yet. Hopefully that's going to have killed the blooming thing. Right, we're up to 37 minutes, which I think is probably a place to cut on it. Mixed bag to start with, not going to lie. Our AT position there has been knocked out. These guys have all legged it. And our Pete's legged it as well. I think this front line has effectively collapsed. For not too much of a cost of the Germans, to be honest. We may have our work cut out as the next one, but that is going to do us for today. As ever, I hope you have enjoyed it. And I'll catch you all in my next one. Cheerio for now.